Hello guys. Hello guys and welcome to today's video. This is the first video that is going to be released on the Oligo official channel, the Oligo Chess official channel, and it's a pleasure to be commentating on this game. It was actually a masterpiece, I would say. So recently, was yesterday, the 5th of November, that we played a tournament of 100 blitz games, 3 minutes and 2 seconds increment, and we played with our engine, Blobfish 4.2 against Stockfish 15. So we're just going to make a recap of the first game. It was actually quite an odd one because it was the only game of the about 50 games that Blobfish played as white, in which Blobfish started with knight to f3. So this is the only game, and I'm gonna show it to you because I thought it was a very nice game. I'm about to sneeze. So let's just jump straight into the game, I guess. Yeah, so Blobfish started with knight to f3. The Retty opening. It's an it's a good opening, I believe, but it was quite often used by Alpha Zero, if you remember, but Stockfish not quite much. Doesn't really like knight to f3. Usually plays e4 or d4. It also scores better with e4, so e4 is slightly better in that regard. But knight to f3. So Blobfish thinks the best response here is d5. Let's just d5 and sort of getting into maybe not arrows are the best, like some sort of Queen's Gambit declined, something like this. The Queen's Gambit is quite good for white, and Blobfish had some success with it, so it makes sense to go for the Queen's Gambit. But let's just see. In this game, Stockfish decided to play c5, the Sicilian invitation. So basically, when you play c5 here, point is if we go e4 here, we get the Sicilian defense. The Sicilian defense you usually get from e4, c5, and then you can put the knight to f3. But in this game, it happened like knight to f3, c5, and then e4. And that is quite good for Blobfish because it also had quite a huge success. Maybe not huge, but it had some success with the Sicilian, or against the Sicilian, I would say. So it's a good opening for Blobfish to begin with. So knight to c6. I, in this position, would play something like bishop to b5. But in this particular game, Blobfish played d4, and trying to exchange that c pawn for the central pawn, and that's interesting because when you look at I have analysis on for this game, so I'm not like talking some smack talk here, but it actually says that black is better in this position after something like takes, and knight to f6. And this is actually what happened in the game. And it still thinks that black is better. But okay, knight to c3. And d6. An interesting move. And now, according to the analysis, that gave the advantage away. But Stockfish believes that after d6, bishop to g5, there is e6, and queen to d2. And this is what happened in the game, so it quite accurately knew what Blobfish was going to play. Now, this move wasn't really in that line that it calculated earlier. It shows a6, and now you can see the evaluation bar says that white has some advantage. Now, Blobfish castles queenside, and after bishop to e7, we have the bishop taking this. And I don't have an opening book, so let's just show. I'm gonna bring up the lead chess opening book. Where's the opening book? Here's the opening book. I'm gonna play it on lead chess. So it's knight to f6. What happened after knight to f6? I think it was knight to c3, d6, bishop g5, e6, queen to d2, and now a6. And after so bishop takes f6 has only been played 15 times on lead chess, and 4 times in the Masters database, and 3 of those were wins for white. So it's, the position is quite healthy for white. After takes, black takes with the g pawn, right? And now black has a damaged structure here, but it has, I guess, that is the weak play in this position, because white has 2 knights, right? I guess the central pawn is a good factor in this game. So double pawn, but 2 central pawns. So it's still, yeah, it's anyone's game here. Now, Blobfish decides to go f4. Now, wanting to oh shit, that's not the move that was played. Blobfish, of course, trying to attack the center, and have, like, he's controlling these squares right now. So it's quite good for white. So it's a nice move. Queen to b6, developing the queen. This has only been played once in the lead chess database, and the response to this was knight to b3, which was also played in this game. And after knight to b3, it was bishop to d7, and which is in fact been reached 7 times, because there is you can transpose. But in this game it was h5 that was played, and it is now, as of move 11, that this is a completely new position. Now, a good move when somebody plays h5 is h4, so Blobfish goes for h4, and queen goes back, trying maybe to control the center a bit more from that square. Now there's this inaccuracy, apparently, Stockfish thinks. Oh shit, I spoiled it. No, this is not gonna work. Now, Stockfish believe, or the game review believes that this is an inaccurate move. The point is that after knight to e5, right, knight to e5, we have rook to h3, for example. Or am I looking at this wrong? Rook to h3, it says, and after something like b5, we have knight to e2, and after knight to e2, if the opponent takes here, we're just gonna take and attacks the rook. And now we go to c3 and attacks the queen. And after queen to d7, we have knight to f4. And then after a rook trade here, we have knight to d4. And after bishop to g4 attacking the rook, we have bishop to e2 trying to trade off the bishops. If you look at the valuation bar, white is winning this, or it's +1, so it might be a winning position. Either way, after f5 we have, instead of knight to e5, which is the best move probably, we have bishop to d7, developing the bishop, and black is intending to queenside castle. But this rook to h3 idea still works. And rook to c8, now doubling up on the t file. King to b1, getting the king safer. It's a usual move that you do when you queenside castle. Now the knight comes into the middle, and now instead the rook goes to g3, dominating this open g file. And now after b5, here comes a3, stopping all sorts of nasty b4 moves that kick away our knight. Now the queen comes back to b6. Maybe he intends to push his pawn, or this pawn, and then this pawn, like this. But Stockfish doesn't realize that white has a much better position. Just goes knight to d4. And oh shit, yeah. He should have gone, maybe should have gone queen to b7 instead. Because now he has to go back here. And after which, rook to e2. Sorry, rook, what the fuck, it's a bishop to e2. And now when b4 comes, we just take it, and after the queen takes it, we can take this pawn, and we're simply up a pawn now. But we still have this rook to b8 move. Maybe rook to a8 would have been better to attack the bishop, and after you would have attacked the bishop, you could have maybe threat some threaten some checkmate ideas, but after rook to b8, we have this mate threat instead. But strangely enough, this is the move played, like knight to b3. It's an interesting move to block the checkmates, because you can block it here, you could block it in some other ways, but that's a cool way to block it. Now king moves, and that's we human never understand such a weird king move. There's probably some reason for it. Now queen goes to f2, and after bishop to c, bishop to d8, we have queen to f4, and that begs the question: why did Blobfish play queen to f2 and then queen to f4, and not just queen to f4? Yeah, doesn't make really sense. But Blobfish is a new up-and-coming engine, and some moves we can't really understand why. Now it goes this inaccurate move, bishop to e8. Don't really understand that. And bishop to e2. Maybe there is some threats of taking this pawn later on. Maybe, we don't know. After queen to b6, in this position, or in this game, queen to b6, the queen should have been on b6 many times. That is a nice move. And then we have rook to f1, just doubling up on the f file. Now we have a simple rook to h7, and after queen goes to d2 and bishop to e7, we have queen to d1. And for the untrained eye, and I have an untrained eye, it looks like just like Blobfish is moving his queen back and forth, not making any progress. But in fact, there is progress in this position. After queen to b7, there is a capture here that is just simply winning for white. And it's not quite hard to spot it. It's just bishop takes h5, because you gain a pawn. Blobfish is just simply up 2 pawns. Can't do anything, you can't capture here. Queen captures. Black is just lost. There's even, if he makes a weird random move like so this move, for example, then we just have what's like this is a mate. Yeah, so you can't do anything about that pawn falling. Well, Stockfish tries to attack this pawn, but it's defended, so you can simply go here, here, here. I don't know, you can defend it in so many ways. But in this position, Blobfish doesn't defend that pawn, because it doesn't need to. There's another capture, and in fact, I think that bishop to c6 is a major mistake. It says excellent, but it is really not excellent, because you allow this move. And also, the thing was that Stockfish saw bishop to e2 as the best move, and it's really not the best move. You just lose a huge advantage. Now the capture I'm talking about is this capture. Simply take on this this pawn, just hack away on the structure. Yeah, and in this position, Stockfish knows this is +2, but Blobfish says this is +3. This is winning. We're up simply 2 pawns. There is no compensation. We have captures, and bishop to g6. Now you can trade the bishop for the knight, and that is good for white, I would say. rook to h8. Now you see that you had the rook to h7 move. Now it sees that, oh, maybe that was not good, because now you have to move the rook. And Stockfish is beginning to realize that this is completely winning. h5, just push on this side. This pawn is a passed pawn, just push it, come on. Rook to a8, maybe is trying to, maybe Stockfish is trying to, sort of, but you can't, because there is two knights defending this position quite well. We have rook to h1, now you can just escort this pawn. Rook to g8 attacks the bishop, but the bishop is defended, so we go queen to c1. We want to get the queen in here, maybe. Rook to h8 defends that, but then it simply into knight to d4. Now we're threatening to take here with check. So, it goes bishop to d8. But then we just have this pawn. We're up 3 pawns now, and after the check, king goes here. We simply go back. We can trade. We probably can trade this the bishop. I would say this is probably winning too, because we're up 3 pawns. It is probably winning. It says plus 1.7 or something. No, maybe 2. Yeah, that might be winning. But Blobfish doesn't go for that. He just simply goes back. He thinks that bishop, this bishop isn't doing anything good. This knight is much better on a central square. f4 is a great square for knights. Simply is a better piece. Now in this position, Stockfish says plus 3. Blobfish says plus 5. This is winning, totally winning. Now we have knight to c4, and now you can pause the video because there's only one winning move. We can roll an ad in between, so you get a little bit of time. So we roll an ad. Can we just... Sorry for that inconvenience. Let's go back. So, what is the best move in this position? Well, the only winning move is knight to knight c to d5. Only winning move. Now this comes with check, and you can't really go here. There's a mate in 8. And that is after this. We have rook, king to g8 forced. Now we have this bishop to f5 move, discovered check, forced move king to f6, f7. Then we have rook to g7 check, forced move, and that is rook to e8. Then we have bishop to g6, and now you have to block with the queen. That is a forced move. Now there's a mate in 4. You can take with the bishop, but the best move is taking with the rook. And how are you going to defend this? Well, you can delay the mate by playing, for example, knight to d2, but we simply take it with the queen. And we can play rook to a1, delaying the mate, but there is no defense against we both threaten mate and on rook to g7 and knight to g7. So if it goes for maybe it goes here, for example, then we have knight here, we have rook here, we have rook here. I think that's mate too. Error? What the fuck? I don't know what that's. Isn't simple. What? Okay, but either way, you have to be very careful, and that is you can take it, but we get the knight here, we check, and then yeah, we're up 3 pawns. And yeah, it's not good. So it's hard for Stockfish to play the correct moves here. Now, Stockfish believes in rook h to h3, but we have bishop to f5, and after the rook to king to e8, forced move, we have bishop back to g6, and king just simply goes back. And for a moment now, Stockfish realized what is happening. Now we just repeat, get a little bit of time. Now we can play rook h to h3, just threatening to move up the rooks. Now rook to a5 attacks the knight, but it's sort of defended, so it doesn't really work. Maybe we're trying to get the queen to a7 and then threatening a mate by rook to a1. But after a check again and a check again, we check, we repeat the position, and now we just push this random pawn. And we say, why would you push that random pawn? It attacks the rook, yes, but we can't take it, so we take the knight, and after the knight takes, we can sack a rook, and we have this check, right? Where Stockfish is down 4 pawns, but has now a check and is threatening something. Yeah, right? No, we have the best move, rook to b3, shutting down all attacks. Knight to d2, check. King goes to a2, and now it simply takes back the rook, and rook takes. The attack is shut. Blobfish sacrificed 2 points of material just to shut down this attack. So Stockfish had something going there, probably. Now we have this queen to a5 check. Queen just blocks. Where's the attack? We can take a pawn. Yeah, Blobfish sacked another pawn. But we have queen to a4, and now we are attacking. And then rook to e6, centralizing the king. But bishop attacks the queen. And Stockfish has a hard time to calculate it. You see the evaluation goes like up and down. It shouldn't really be doing this if it understands this position, but it doesn't. Blobfish believes this is a +7 position. Stockfish now says +3.5. And it goes up. Now, queen to a5. Now there is one move that is far superior to all the moves. Should we have some time to guess it? Bishop to f5. You see, if queen takes here, just simply sacking the bishop. What do we have then? We have queen to c4. And if d5 blocks, then we have queen to c8. And if the king moves away from the queen, then the queen is lost, so it goes to e5, right? But then we have rook to e3, forcing away this king from the queen. Or we can block and simply takes. Blobfish just sacked a bishop. Straight up sacked a bishop. And Stockfish has none of it. Doesn't want to play that out. Now rook goes to b7. There's a check. King goes to f8. A queen trade happens. And we're in this bishop and rook endgame. Blobfish up just a single pawn. Was up 4 pawns earlier on. Sacked a little bit of material, or just it was up 2 pawns. It's sacked because Stockfish sacked a rook. So it was up 2 pawns, so it sacked at least a pawn. But now it pushes. And bishop goes back to defend. Now the king starts walking in. And after this push, we have bishop here attacking the pawn. The pawn moves, king goes in. So the bishop now defends it. Well, we can just start the king walk. This pawn is no problem because we can just take it. This pawn can never be taken by the bishop. And this rook, to attack this pawn, has to go here. Then the bishop has to move. It takes too much time. It can't go here either because we just take it. Now, bishop goes to e1 and just gives us this pawn. Simply nothing to do. Pushes this pawn, another pawn sacked. There's nothing to do. Now this disgusting move. King can't move here to defend, king can't move there to defend. This rook can only sack itself. This king can't do anything about it. This rook is trapped for the remainder of the game. So in reality, there's this king and 3 pawns. So the bishop goes there. King starts walking. Now, let's go back. Now, Blobfish sacks his rook. Because after takes and bishop to d6, we have plus 1 point of material. We have 3 pawns against a rook, and we have a bishop also. This is straight up winning. Or this is not what was played. What was played was this move, and then Stockfish resigned. This could have happened. It's not the best move, I don't know. It could have happened. So that is an interesting game. I don't think we don't have table basis for this, but it is straight up winning for white. Simply straight up winning. Yeah, so that was the first game. So I'm gonna make an analysis of the next game.